Batra Daf Samach, 3 lines from the bottom of Amud Aleph. Rabbi Ami, Rabbi Ami have a Rabbi Ami had a tree that went into public property. Another guy who also had a tree that was sticking out into public. The public started objecting to the other guy who had his tree sticking into the public. Rabbi said, come back tomorrow, I'll tell you what to do. That night, Rabbi Yana sent someone to cut down his own tree. The next day, the guy came to Rabbi Yana. Rabbi Yana told him, go cut down your tree. But you, Rabbi, you also have it. How do you do it? He says, okay, fine, you're right. If mine's cut down, go look at mine. If mine's cut down yours. If mine's not cut down, you can't cut down yours. Obviously, it was already cut down, so the guy cut it now. So how come Rabbi Yana initially did have it up if he was going to cut it down? He should have cut it down beforehand. We say no. Initially, maybe he thought people were happy to have trees sticking in the public for the shade. Once he saw that people were complaining about the other guy's trees, he said, you know what, cut down my branches. But then realized, how come Rabbi didn't tell the guy, why did Rabbi have to cut down his first? He should have told the guy, cut down yours, and then you can cut down mine. The Gemara says, famous concept, Pasuk says, clean yourself and clean others. Teaches you that if you ever want to help someone fix something of their problems, first fix yourself and then fix them. Okay. Our Mishnah mentioned that if you can't extend your ledge or balcony into public, but if you want to bring your house in and then extend it. You might ask the question, let's say you brought your house deeper into your property, but you didn't extend the ledge at that time. Can you do it 5 years later? Rabbi Yochanan says yes, you can, no problem. He says no, you can't, because the public already got used to that extra space in front of your house, and therefore you can't do it. I'll explain to you. Let's see whether or not you're able to stand it out. Everybody says, no, everybody, you can extend it. Keep the words in meaning, according to Rabbi Yaakov, there's no machloket whether or not you could extend the balcony. The machloket according to Rabbi Yaakov is if you could bring your house back, the walls of your house back to the front. That's where the machloket is. And the positions are the opposite. Rabbi Yochanan says you can't put the walls back. Rabbi says you can return. Rabbi Yochanan says that you can't return it because Rabbi Da's halakha. Amar Rabbi Da, famous concept. A private strip of land on private property that public already established for themselves. You cannot ruin it. The famous. The next time you go, so those who are in Long Branch, they go to Park Avenue through the shortcut by Royal Place. Look at the sign over there. It's very, very interesting when the public uses private property as a shortcut or as a walking. You can't easily take it away. Rashki says you can return it. That only applies that you can return it is sorry. The only time you can't return, the only time you can't allow people from using a property is there's no other way to go. That's their only way now. But over here, let's say with putting your house back onto your original spot, there's still people to walk on the sidewalk, and therefore, since they still have a way to pass through, it's okay. Next, if someone bought a courtyard and there's ledges and balconies, it keeps the chazakah, and you don't have to cut it down. It got grandfathered in. Now the Gemara says, if the house collapsed, you can rebuild it with the old ledges. A question. Nowadays, after the Beit HaMikdash, we show warning by we're not allowed to lime or plaster our walls with painting, etc. If you bought a house that's already limed or plastered or painted, you can keep it. However, if it falls down, you can't rebuild it. So how come by us, regarding the balcony, you can rebuild it, and over here by the painting, you shouldn't rebuild it because of the Mikdash? Where says Isura Shani, that's the exact difference. Isur law, a law about prohibition because of Beit HaMikdash, that you can't rebuild is different than the case of monetary, like civil law regarding public property. That's okay, you can rebuild. Okay, number 9. The person should not plaster the house with the walls of the house with plaster or lime. If you mixed it with sand or straw, it's mutar because it's not as good strength or quality. It says, if he mixed sand with it, how does it? That's very strong plaster still, and it's asur. Tevin mutar, but if you mix straw with it, it's not as good, and that is mutar. That is okay post Bet HaMikdash destruction. Don't worry, we're going to explain what we do nowadays. When the second Bet HaMikdash was destroyed, Perushim Israel, people who were separated, these people who were tzaddikim, they decided they stopped eating meat and wine. And the Yeshua tried to talk to them. Marlene asked them, my sons, how come you guys don't eat meat or drink wine? I'm really told them, no, how can we eat meat? We used to bring meat as the Mizbeach. Now there's no more meat in the Mizbeach. We don't want to eat meat anymore. How can we drink wine? We used to pour wine as libation on the Mizbeach. Now we don't have it anymore. So how can we enjoy wine? Maybe you should stop eating bread. Because now we don't have Korban Menachot, which had bread. So you know, so they said, okay, fine, we'll stop eating bread. We'll have fruits. Good idea. He says, you shouldn't have fruit either. Because we don't have the mitzvah of bikurim, the first fruits. So they answered him, he said, okay, fine, but yeah, we can't have the first fruits because of bikurim, but the secondary fruits, the fruits that come after, we should be able to eat. So he said, okay, fine. Don't drink water, because we used to have water libation as they Shatku. They realized, you know what? It's true. We can't be too extreme. We shouldn't add on things that people can't handle, and therefore we're able to eat meat and wine because obviously we can't take away water as well. Henry, my children, I'll explain to you the good way to mourn for the Mikdash. You can't not mourn. You have to mourn something. Because the Mikdash was destroyed. You can't mourn too much. You can't decree something on the public unless they're able to handle it. This explains it. This is what we should do. The person can plaster his house and paint it, etc. Just leave a small area unplastered, unpainted. How big? A area of 1 amma by 1 amma. That place should be next to the doorway, which we have the current minhag as well. That person should prepare his meal. What? He should leave out a small part, one piece off the menu, just as a zecher for the Bet HaMikdash. What should live off? A piece of fried fish. A person should put all her usual jewelry. And she should stop adorning herself in a certain way. What's that? Rav says that she shouldn't take care of and should leave unadorned her hair by the side of her head like temple. Pasuk says, what does it mean that I won't go to Yerushalayim on my highest joy? This is referring to the ashes that we should put on the heads of the groom at their wedding to show that they're still mourning Bet HaMikdash. Ask the question, what do we put it? The answer is on the forehead by the Tefillin. Whoever mourns Yerushalayim will see the rejoicing and the reconstruction. Right? We had this pasuk in the Gnan Gittin that we did on Shabbat. Right after the Shabbat, we're having it again. Maybe listen by Nahamu Ami. We mourn for Yerushalayim and we be for the rebuilding. Continuing, I had to continue before you guys thought it was over. Rabbi Shmuel Elisha said, was destroyed, we should have made a decree, made her drink wine. We can't decree something on the public that we can't handle. And ever since the wicked Roman Empire decreed on us very harsh decrees that stopped us from learning Torah and doing mitzvot, and also they stopped us from either doing Brit Milah, Vamrila, Shaben, and making things like that. You couldn't do the Pidyon Ben. We should have made a decree that we shouldn't be able to get married and have kids because we can't do those mitzvot anymore. But that would cause that Avraham Avinu and the Jewish nation would cease to exist. Rather, we should let them marry and have kids because because it's better that they make violations by accident versus on purpose. Meaning we can make decrees on people that they shouldn't do these extreme things because then they'll do it on purpose and be over on purpose, and that's not the way to do it. Mabruk on the third parak.